Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook. Today, we are back to iced coffee. I suppose it may be a little early in the season, but I figured it's time to get refreshed rather than comforted from a warm beverage in the morning. How is everybody doing today? Today is Tuesday, April 25th, and as always, it is a pleasure to welcome you here at Coffee and Headlines. We have all kinds of interesting news to share with you today, all kinds of important and some mundane things that I thought you might want to know about. But before we go there, as always, we welcome everybody to the broadcast. If you are new or watching live for the first time, feel free to let us know by writing the word new in your comment. We'll give you a nice little welcome in exchange. And of course, if there's something very important that you wish to share with everyone, it helps a great deal when you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comments so that we can look for them later on in the broadcast. I think we can start with the news, and we start with long weekends that are coming back to Puerto Vallarta, another long weekend, and hopefully another influx of tourists is approaching this coming weekend. Families with children enrolled in school may get as many as 4 days off starting on April 28th, this Friday. Then classes are suspended also on May 5th, so there's another long weekend for some. So in both cases, the Secretary of Tourism has predicted that Puerto Vallarta and Cancun will take the nationwide lead as far as hotel occupancy is concerned. In other news, CEPAL has reported that the improvements being worked on at the intersection of Prisciliano Sanchez and Mexico Avenues near Aramara has been concluded, and this is, of course, good news. We'll have to see and learn where CEPAL is going to intervene our pipes next in the city. And yesterday, we reported increasing concern among South Shore condo owners and other groups about the proliferation of beach umbrella rentals in some areas, in some beaches, obviously, which are crowding things just a little bit too much for beachgoers. Now, the director of the Puerto Vallarta Hotel Motel Association, Alejandro Torres Magaña, has chimed in the conversation, and he has confirmed that the increase on beach vendors that are in the business of renting beach umbrellas and tables is real, and it should be better regulated by local authorities. And one of the issues seems to be that apparently when you have a permit to rent umbrellas, well, life is good, but you are not allowed to open your umbrellas and save a spot until somebody actually is renting an umbrella. And what some of these beach vendors seem to be doing is to open their umbrellas ahead of time and reserving spaces for potential customers ahead of time, which, according to what I read, is not the way to do it. So we'll see where this goes, with vendors having federal permits but not endorsed by the local government. There is a conflict there, and hopefully it will be resolved. In other news, Escolas Ocurrentes, an educational foundation created in 2013 by Pope Francis, is now in Puerto Vallarta running a program to prevent and detect threatening psychological and social situations among children and teenagers in our cities. The program began yesterday and will continue through Friday with a group of teenagers that are getting together every day at the International Convention Center to participate in a series of dynamics and workshops. The program arrived in our city thanks to a letter of intention that was signed by Governor Enrique Alfaro and Pope Francis back on September 23rd of last year. I will leave you with the website for the organization in the show notes so you can learn more about Escolas Ocurrentes. Federal authorities have reported that President López Obrador has COVID-19 for the third time. Ouch. The good news is that he is in good condition under close medical supervision and should be back to his official duties in a matter of days. Of course, we wish our president continued health. And now let us take a quick look at the weather. Let me set this up. There you go. And our snarky weather has this to say today. Speaking of presidents of a certain age, snarky weatherman says, I'm looking forward to the 2032 U.S. presidential election, 2032, when only white men in their 90s will be allowed to run. Well, that is a little shady, if you ask me. But I can tell you that it is 26 degrees right now. Feels like 26. Humidity is at 43, and our Fahrenheit temperature is 79. The weather forecast for today says mostly cloudy skies with a high of 29 and a low of 17. Tomorrow, Wednesday, humid and mostly cloudy skies throughout the day with a high of 29 and a low of 18. Thursday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with clear skies in the afternoon with a high of 30 and a low of 18. Not bad. And now let me give you some closure about this situation with Pasitos de Luz, which we've been emailing back and forth since Sunday, after we reported news about the local nonprofit. I heard back from Director Arturo Ayala, and what I did is, after we had our broadcast yesterday, I sent him an email. I said to him, well, we've done nothing wrong here, so we have nothing to take down. However, I appreciate the fact that you're having an issue with a local news outlet, and once you clarify things with them, and if you're going to publish something in your social media or you're going to send out a press release to clarify what happened, we would be so very happy to receive it and to disseminate it for the sake of clarity. Now, whereas I volunteered to report their clarifications, apparently they have chosen not to take care of the problem publicly, as it would be inconvenient for them, whatever that means. I am not making any judgments here, but Director Arturo Ayala did acknowledge that a memo was sent out without his own supervision, and they have apparently taken the necessary steps to prevent this from happening in the future. He acknowledged my position of remaining impartial when it comes to local nonprofits, and hopefully there will be important and newsworthy updates from them in the future. As I mentioned to him, that the primary concern that we have here at Coffee and Headlines as far as nonprofits are concerned is we'd love to showcase messages or posts or information that is sent out by nonprofits when they are clearly explaining their goals or their outcomes or their wishes, their information in a way that is friendly and approachable. So that is that. Now, I thought we were done with the whole protest issue, but this bit of news totally made me laugh because Imagine that you are heading to your wedding and you are caught in a protest that has to do with the verification center. Well, apparently this happened. There was this bride that was heading all the way to her wedding at the Barceló Hotel in Mismaloya, and she was trapped in the kerfuffle. So her maids of honor literally got out of the vehicle where she was traveling, holding their flower bouquets and everything, and they started talking to the protesters and saying, hey, a wedding is going to be ruined by you. So the protesters clearly said, well, love conquers all, even protests, and let the bride get by. So the end of that story was a good one. The bride made it to her wedding on time, and all ended well. Here we go again, Guinness Book of World Records. Now, Mazapan de la Rosa, a popular Guadalajara-based candy maker, has announced that they will commemorate Jalisco's 200th anniversary with the creation of the largest marshmallow in the world, which will be on display this coming Friday somewhere in Guadalajara. The thing, I cannot think of a better way to call this ginormous marshmallow, is expected to weigh over 800 kilos, and it has to, because the same company presently has the record for the largest marshmallow in the world at 800.296 kilos. I'm sure I'm reading those numbers wrong, but those were the numbers that were published in the news item. So that's a big marshmallow, my friends, and I can only imagine the size of the bonfire you would need to roast and toast that sucker. Finally, I think we're getting to the end of our news. Yes, once upon a time, Paseo de la Reforma in Mexico City had a gorgeous palm tree, and it was there for years, for many years. Then it got sick and started to die. Then the sickly palm tree was removed and replaced by a cypress tree after Mexico City residents participated in a poll to pick the type of tree to place there. But this particular cypress was not happy and didn't do so well either. And of course, it didn't help that it was rammed by at least one drunk driver, if I recall. So now, hoping that if the third one is indeed a charm, Mexico City authorities have removed the unhappy cypress tree, and rather than simply replacing it for another one, they are replacing the ground soil with better chingaderas to hopefully increase the chances of survival for a new cypress that will be planted there sometime in May. That's all the way in Mexico City, but we had talked about this before, and I just wanted to make sure that we followed up. Do I drive you crazy when I announce my presentations over and over? I certainly hope not, because every time I do a new one, I get more and more excited about the information shared, and it happened at the piano, which will take place this coming Thursday, is turning out to be a very interesting presentation. If I may say so myself, please join us if you can, Thursday at 5 o'clock at the Joint Co-working Hotel. And now let us take a quick look at your comments and your cues just to see what everybody is up to. Good morning here, good morning there, good morning everywhere. Lots of good mornings, which I very much appreciate. Angel is new, or I think that N stands for new. Good morning, Paco. Wife and I currently live in Querétaro, but thinking to relocate to Puerto Vallarta soon. Welcome. Angel also adds, thank you for all the videos on you have on YouTube. They've been really helpful. Well, that's what we're here for, to hopefully create nurturing connections for people that live here and people that are thinking of living here. There's a huge number of videos on YouTube, from past broadcasts to walking tours to a handful of interviews here and there that will hopefully be of assistance to anyone starting or considering getting closer to Puerto Vallarta. And I don't see any cues. I don't see many comments today. So I suppose this is the end of today's broadcast. Let me put in my usual sign. It is only Tuesday, but there's a lot of activity in the air, getting together with dear friends of mine that are just coming back from, one of them coming back from her first trip to Guadalajara. I can't wait to hear all the details. And of course, I am lining up our Thursday presentation to be a really, really fun one. So that's what we have for today. I hope you enjoy the content as usual. I enjoy your company and look forward to seeing you again sometime in the near future. Between now and then, stay kind, stay happy, stay in touch. Have a great day.